Hello, Spartan fans, and welcome to another edition of the Spartan Sideline Report here on NSUSpartans.com. I'm Ross Gordon, the play-by-play voice of the Spartans, joined by Assistant Sports Information Director Mike Bello. Today we'll also be joined by head softball coach Heidi Cavallo and junior catcher Kathy Cortez. Mike, good weekend for the Spartans. Also a good start to the week this week, as the Spartans took two from North Carolina Central yesterday or on Tuesday. But the Spartans also had a big conference weekend, sweeping their conference series over the weekend.
Yeah, they went up to Morgan State and took those three games. You know, that's the type of, and it wasn't easy because, you know, there was rain in the forecast. They had to move the Saturday game to Coppin State, and they played late in the evening. They didn't start till like 7 or 8 o'clock. And obviously they had to play two on Sunday, which they normally don't do. Usually play two on Saturday. So it's kind of a little bit of you know, not the easiest weekend to deal with, especially on the road. But, you know, they came out with the 3 wins against a team that they should beat three times easily. You know, now it just sets up for the final 2 weekends against Delaware State this week and in 2 weeks at Hampton.
Huge conference weekends, as the Spartans will host Delaware State this weekend, and Delaware State, a team that's starting to come into its own, only 2 conference losses. And again, if the Spartans want to stay in that top seed in the North, they're going to have to do a good job against the Delaware State Hornets this weekend. Yeah,
you know, you got Delaware State there, 2 losses. You know, Hampton's right on NSU's tail as well. So, you know, it's kind of important. At this point, you definitely don't want to have to, even if you lose one of the 3, you don't want to have to be hoping that another team, you know, a team like Hampton has to lose later on for you to get that number 1 seed. So you want to take care of business, and everything else doesn't really matter. It's all on you.
Hampton has UMES this weekend. Delaware State will have UMES the next weekend, as the Spartans and Pirates will do battle at Hampton University. One of those games will be on ESPNU coming up, as we welcome in the head coach from Norfolk State University, Heidi Cavallo. Heidi, first of all, let's talk a little bit about the conference weekend. Did a good job against Morgan State securing those 3 victories.
Right. It was an unconventional conference weekend, like we talked about. We usually play at 1 and 3 on Saturday, and we didn't play. I don't think game time started till 7:30. We had some setbacks, which changed things up a little bit, but you know, we went out and just worked as hard as we could, regardless. And playing 2 games on Sunday is not the norm, so it was a little bit rough on Sunday, but we came out with 2 wins, so we were really happy with that.
You know, the bats, you know, really exploded in that first game on Saturday. You know, 17 runs. Maybe we should play 7 o'clock every Saturday. We'll move this Saturday's games to 7. We'll probably score about 20. But
you have to do it, not me. But.
Yeah, I'm the one. I got to be there late. But then on Sunday, you know, Morgan State kind of quieted your bats a little bit, and Stephanie Wheatley kind of stepped up in that second game to shut them down to get you guys that win as well.
Right. You know, I can't be mad at not scoring 17 runs because we hit the ball really well on Sunday. The field that they play at is pretty deep, and their outfielders were playing pretty deep. We made some really solid contact. So it was just a matter of finding the holes to score the runs, and we were really proud of Stephanie Wheatley finally getting back on the mound, and she did a great job in Game 2 on Sunday. And for us, that was really nice to see going into the toughest part of our conference schedule.
We have a big couple weekends coming up, but again, we talked about what this team has to do to be successful, and that's really catch the ball. We know we're going to hit the ball 13th in the country in batting right now coming into the last week. Defense was going to be key, and we did a good job defensively over the weekend.
Right. We've done a really good job in the past 5 games, yesterday as well included. It's just consistency and them going out and being confident in themselves. And you know, if we play strong defense, I think we'll be okay this weekend. I know we'll score the runs, and the pitchers have been throwing so much better now that we've had the warmer weather. And you know, all 3 components have to be there this weekend in order for us to succeed.
Yeah, we talk about going on to Delaware State this weekend. Delaware State's kind of an enigma of a team. You know, they had a couple players who were expected to be there that aren't there right now with the team. So it's kind of like you don't really know what to expect with them. You don't know, you know, with the coaching change, you don't know how that's going to affect them. You know, they could heat up or they could, you know, fall apart. So, I mean, what kind of have you seen out of Delaware State that gives you caution that this is still a tough team to beat?
Well, they definitely have picked it up in the past few weeks. They started off a little bit weaker, but they've come on strong. You know, we're keeping an eye on them with their batters, and they have a couple kids who are on some really good hitting streaks right now. So for us, we have to go right at them with the pitchers, you know, making sure catchers are calling a game, and then defensively, you know, trying to get 3 up and 3 down so we can go on in and score some runs.
We'll speak to our catcher in just a few moments, in Kathy Cortez, but you just mentioned somebody who's on a great hitting streak, and everybody would probably say Haley Ward is who I'm talking about, but Whitney Williams, the freshman third baseman, has probably been the most exciting player to see her grow and see what she's going to be hits the ball very hard and very well. She just hasn't found that get over the fence power yet, even though she hits the ball hard as I don't know what. But she's been playing well as the season has gone along.
Right, she has. With any freshman, it takes time to get adjusted to movement and seeing the pitches really well. That's the adjustment from high school to college, and I think that she's done a good job of it lately. When she makes contact, it's hard. It's going by you hard, and she does have 1 home run on the season now, so we're excited to see that. And I'm expecting big things later in the season from her in the next few weeks.
We welcome in Kathy Cortez, senior catcher from California. Got you. As Kathy, first of all, let's talk about where you come from, where softball is huge. You look at the UCLAs of the world, the Arizonas of the world, even though it's not in California, but it's still on the West Coast. You have teams that have won national championships out there. Talk a little about the caliber of play in California when it comes to softball.
It's really big. I think it all has to do with the weather. It's a year-round sport, so we don't have to worry about the rain and everything. But we, California brings in, a lot of big players. We just work really hard out there, and like you said, UCLA and those big teams. Those kids strive for that growing up because you want to be, on those teams. So to get there, you have to work hard, and the coaches are out there, pounding it in your head every day that if you want to be up there, you have to do this, and that to get there.
As usually when you think of catchers, you want to think of someone who's a little bit bigger, bigger body behind the plate, someone who can block the ball, bigger arms. You're only about 5'3", so you're a little shorter than what. I mean, you don't want to say, but you're a little shorter than what people would expect out of a catcher. Does that kind of give you like a little chip on your shoulder that people saw you as, not as big as for the position that you expect to be?
Yes. Growing up, I was always told I was, too little, not too strong. I heard all of it. And one of my coaches said that if I wanted to be a D1 catcher, that I had to go out there and put in the extra work. After school, go into the gym or go and do more hitting. And if I can do that and work hard on the field, then I can get there. And, I've heard it all. So being out here really just shows them that, I can do it, and I just have to keep working hard.
Defensively has always been your strong point, and you've done a good job behind the plate for the Spartans since you've been here. But this year, the bat has also started to complement your defense. Talk a little bit about what the transition was, or what helped you to see the ball better, or just come into your own offensively.
I think I've always seen the ball well. I think it's just confidence now and just trusting my hands. I've talked to Coach H a lot and a bunch of my teammates. I hit the ball very well when I'm relaxed and not thinking. And I understand I'm not going to have good games at the plate, but when I do have good games, I'm relaxed and I'm having fun. So,
you had a strong freshman year. You're all MEAC, hit above 300, and you had you don't want to say a sophomore slump necessarily, but your numbers weren't as good as your freshman year. So coming into your junior year, I mean, what was the key for you, in your thinking or at the plate, that hey, I need to get back to this freshman level that I played at?
Just having fun. I came in as a freshman. Just wanting to play and being out there. And I did put a lot on my shoulders sophomore year. Now going into my junior year, I just have to go out there and have fun. And I've been having fun. A couple of games where I got into my head, but other than that, I've been having fun and seeing the ball well and driving through it.
You're now one of the elder statesmen on the team. It doesn't seem like this is a very old team by any stretch of the imagination, but you are one of the players who has been around for a while. So that means you take on a leadership role. Talk a little about that role as a catcher, because you really set things up defensively for everybody. You tell everybody where to go, where everything's going. Then on the other side, you have to keep players up. How has that grown in you, and how have you grown up as a leader on this team?
I think seeing that my freshman year and then going into my sophomore year, now I can see what these younger players have to deal with. And I can be that, like you said, that leader up there and just trying to calm them down and everything. And on defensively, just getting to know like how these umpires work and seeing the defense and everything, calling a game, how the pitchers have grown. So it's easier as you get older, just seeing everything and adjusting to it.
And Coach, she mentioned it, when you played for 3 full years, when you're started for 3 years, at catcher, you really get to know the pitchers, you get to know what their tendencies are, and she even mentioned that you get to know the umpires, you know what their strike zones are. I mean, how vital is that for you to have a catcher who's started for 3-4 years and still has another year still to go?
Right. I mean, it's key behind the plate. Kat calls all of our pitchers, and it's important for her to be able to do that because she does know the umpires. She knows their strike zones. You know, she's sitting back there and really reading the batters, and that's big. And the pitchers have bought into Kat, and Kat buys into the pitchers, and so it's such a great bond. And we have a whole another year left of her, which is wonderful. You know, we do have a young squad, so to say. You know, we have one consistent starting senior and then another senior who's been playing a lot for us. So to know that all of these kids are coming back next year is really awesome.
Coach, again, Delaware State this weekend, a huge weekend series for you. Talk a little bit about what you want to get out of this week of practice going into Saturday and Sunday.
I think the biggest thing is we have to go into Saturday and Sunday confident. You know, confident in our defense is the biggest thing. Really talking through it, going through, you know, all of our plays, making sure that when we step on that field Saturday, our defense is ready to go. And then as far as pitching and offense, you know, just making sure they feel sound and they're getting the reps and the bullpens in that they need. We have to have all three components in order to dominate Del State this weekend.
And you mentioned earlier, you know, this is senior day this weekend. You know, Saturday's going to be senior day. You got 4 seniors. You know, Jillian Jaritzo, who hasn't played this year because of that knee injury, so her career is done. But you've had players like Gipsy Ramirez, who's sort of had a pretty up and down career. You know, started off well, had a sophomore slump, but you know, last year and this year, she's kind of really taken on that leadership role. Plus Chelsea Davis, who came back really strong this year, and Marjorie Pettit. So talk about what it's, you know, just the emotions of going through a senior day like that with those players.
Senior day is always emotional, you know, regardless of how many seniors you have and how many you're losing. We have a really great home fan base, and they're planning a really big day for them and to celebrate them. And I think that they're going to go out and play really hard. We love having senior day versus a really strong team. It always helps get us more pumped up because we want to represent the seniors and let them have a really nice last weekend at home.
Coach, good luck to you this weekend as you host Delaware State. The Spartans will host Delaware State, as just mentioned. This weekend out at the NSU softball field, they will play a doubleheader at 1 p.m. on Saturday, which will also serve as senior day. NSU will play its last home game of the year Sunday at noon against the Hornets. We would like to thank the Department of Video and Media Production for their help here today, and we would also like to thank Coach Cavallo and Kathy for stopping by. For Mike Bello, I'm Ross Gordon. Until next time, we thank you for watching the NSU Spartan Sideline Report on NSUSpartans.com.